Can unmitigated fan service save the brand new Gundam anime series, or will it get a Buster Rifle to the face? Find out in my review of the first episode of the brand new Gundam Build Fighters. The mecha gods have spoken and we have been given a brand new Gundam anime series. And you know what? It's not too much of a surprise. This is one of the longest running anime franchises of all time, well over 30 years, and it's definitely one of the most classic. And I love Gundam! It's one of my favorite franchises of all time, and I'm glad that they're finally doing another one. And this one is also doing something different, and I always appreciate that. Product placement at its best. I'm surprised they haven't done this sooner. But you know what? This entire series is all about Gundam models, building them, and making them fight each other, and that's what you get to learn in this episode. The first episode really is just getting to learn a little bit more about this world and how the characters work inside of it. And I love how the series actually opens up. It actually looks like kind of a typical Gundam series, and you get this really huge space battle, which is actually kind of impressive, but then it all of a sudden just goes back and you see that there's this kid who's having a dream, and this is our main character, Sei Iori. And apparently Sei is like the best at building Gundam models. He can make them look really awesome, but apparently he's not that great at using them in gunpla battles, which is essentially how all of the fighting is going to take place in this series. And if you've ever watched Yu-Gi-Oh! Or fucking played the Skylanders shit, that bullshit Spyro thing, I can't believe that's the sequel to the Spyro games we grew up with. Essentially, it's like that. They have their Gundam models, and they're able to place them down, and it creates these, like, big 3D models of them they can use to fight. And they use these, like, weird orb controllers to control them. It's very video game-like, but at the same time, I like the way it almost seems like they're actually inside of a cockpit. On the one hand, I get sort of a kiddie vibe from the show, but that doesn't really make it bad. The minute I start seeing all of the Gundam models and everything, I start going to, like, fan service world. I'm like, oh, I know what that is. That's from Gundam Wing. That's from 0083. They actually are making an F91 reference? But yeah, that's pretty much what this whole episode is just fan service, getting to see all of these different Gundam models, and getting to learn a little bit more about the main character, Sei. And we get to see that he actually lives at a friggin' Gundam model shop, which is pretty convenient and pretty awesome. And he actually suffers from a big stereotype of anime and Gundam in general. The father is missing, but apparently the father is a badass. He was one hell of a Gundam fighter, and what's so awesome about his character is they even have a flashback with him, and he's using the original RX-78-2 Gundam just to show how awesome he is and just to show how old school he is. Sei lives with his mother at the Gundam shop, and Sei's mother, for lack of a better term, is a MILF. Sei is hassled by this other kid by the name of Sasaki who wants to challenge him in a Gundam battle, and he uses a really old school mobile suit, which is a Gion, which is from the original Mobile Suit Gundam, and you get to see the Gion go up against the Wing Gundam, and this is great because the Wing Gundam, come on, that's just friggin' awesome. I love Gundam Wing. For a lot of people in America, that was our very first Gundam, so getting to see this in the very first episode is pretty damn satisfying. Unfortunately, Sei sucks at these battles, and the Wing Gundam ends up getting defeated. But that's more introduced to our other main character of the episode, who is Reiji. And all I can really say about Reiji so far is that he's incredibly vague and mysterious. He's not from Japan, we don't really know where he's from, but he doesn't seem to understand the customs of anything. But at the same time, he also happens to be a badass and might possibly be a superhero. The only reason I say that is because he wears this wristband that has this like turquoise gem on it, and he gives another one to Sei in the episode when they start to become close friends, and he tells him that as long as you have this rock, you can call me whenever you want. And that's where the last half of the episode comes into play. We get to see that Sei has another battle when he builds this brand new Gundam, which is like a custom one. It is the Build Strike, and obviously Gundam Seed fans are going to love seeing that. But this just opens up a lot of possibilities to show that they can pull from like any Gundam series, and they can just make these really awesome composite Gundams. I really can't wait to see what the series is going to pull off. A battle ensues between the Build Strike and the Gion, and it's pretty awesome, you know, it's nothing too mind-blowing, but it is cool just to see these two mobile suits going up against each other. Eventually, though, Sei ends up getting almost defeated, and then all of a sudden, Reiji just appears out of nowhere in the room and starts helping him in this battle, and even the parents are watching, and they're like, what the hell is going on? And there's also this other character by the name of Mr. Rawl, who is an awesome reference to the character of Ramba Ral from Mobile Suit Gundam. I know you old school fans are definitely going to catch that one, and he even has a few of his classic lines, which is just, you know, for a Gundam fan, we love that shit. So Reiji ends up taking control of the battle. It's pretty funny when he actually learns the controls of how it works, but he ends up just destroying the Gion and cutting it in half, which is, of course, another great reference to the very first episode of the original Mobile Suit Gundam, where Amuro Ray's Gundam was able to cut that Zaku in half. So just fan service all over your face. At the end of the episode, we get to see after the credits, which rolls through a lot of different animation sequences. We get to see that Reiji is now just at Sei's house, and they're just going to be hanging out. I don't know what's going to be happening here, but maybe it's just going to be sort of a cool partnership, although I do want to see Sei actually be the one to control the Gundams eventually. But first episode, first impressions, I like it for the most part. You know, I love all of the fan service, and that's really what this episode delivers. There's just so many different mobile suits and Gundams that make an appearance in this episode. Like I said, there's stuff from like 0083, 8th MS Team, frickin' Zeta Gundam, Double Zeta Gundam, just so much cool stuff that Gundam fans are going to love. The Wing fans are just going to love this episode. And it's just, you know, I'm surprised they haven't done this sooner. And I actually like how when they're actually fighting in the battles, like if they get a limb knocked off, it's not like a typical Gundam fight where like there's like sparks all over the place. It actually looks like Gundam models being like torn apart. That is until the end of the episode where the build strike cuts the Gion in half. But still, that was mostly for thematic stuff and it just looked really cool. But I like the concept of the series so far. It looks like it could do some really interesting stuff. And if anything, it's just an excuse to be able to use any mobile suit or Gundam that they've created over the course of like the last 30 or so years. Because they can do anything at this point with this series, and I don't know how long it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be like a 26-episode season, or if it's going to be a long 50-episode series, or if it's going to be a continuous one. Gundam has mostly stuck to like the 50-episode or the 26-episode season, so we'll see how this is going to go. But I'm excited for it, and I'm probably just going to keep reviewing the series because I'm a huge Gundam fan. And if you're a Gundam fan in any form or fashion, I still recommend that you should check this out because you might be able to see some classics and get some goosebumps from all of the awesome fan service. So I liked this episode right here. I'm not going to give it a score because I just want to see more of what the series has to offer. But I think you should check this one out if you're a Mecha fan or a Gundam fan, and don't write it off if it looks kind of kiddie, because it's kind of similar to Gundam Age. It has kind of a similar art style, but it can manage to be really cool at the same time. So check it out. It's awesome. There it is. So the first episode of Gundam Build Fighters was pretty damn good. I really enjoyed it. But how about you guys? If you had a chance to check out the very first episode, I'd love to hear your thoughts about it in your comments below. And you could also tell me about what you hope to see from the rest of the series. And before you guys leave, make sure and give this video a thumbs up. Definitely one of the best ways to support our videos. And you could check out whatever else we have up top. So, I will see you next time, guys. Super Kami Guru 9000, out.